Tonight we go deeper into the sleeping brain's private world, and we will keep our feet on solid ground, even as the scenes turn strange. Think of this as a guided walk through the machinery that makes dreams vivid, useful, and at times courageous. We will test bold claims, show where the evidence is strong, and give you advanced tools you can actually use. From the earlier episode, keep one thing in your pocket. Treat dreams as practice with a 2-line morning note and a gentle reality check. Tonight we shift to where the pictures form and how to nudge them. Hold a simple picture first. When your sleeping mind paints a room, a cluster of regions near the back of your head lights up as if someone opened a window there. This neighborhood is often called the posterior hot zone, which here just means a back of the brain area that builds scenes. When that zone hums, people report vivid images. When it quiets, the dream turns into thin thought. You do not need to memorize anatomy to use this insight. It is enough to know that imagery has a home address, and that address belongs to the same city that handles vision when you are awake. The difference at night is that the city supplies its own traffic and the streets still feel real. Now let us separate what dreams might do from what they clearly do. Sleep strengthens some memories, trims others, and tunes emotions so they do not flood the next day. Dreams are the felt side of that work, the story your mind experiences while the deeper edits happen underneath. Yet the most exciting idea is not storage, it is generalization. Generalization here just means learning that holds up when the surface details change. Dreams may push you toward that kind of learning by scrambling the surface while keeping the rule. Imagine a chord progression. You practice the same way every evening. If you only ever play it in the same key at the same tempo, you can become brittle. The night remix shifts, key, tempo, and even the instrument in your mind so that the rule survives change. This is the heart of the overfitted brain idea. Overfitting in plain words is when a mind becomes too perfect at one narrow pattern and fails when life shifts. Dreams add playful noise and odd pairings, which keeps your inner model from snapping when reality swerves. The oddness is not a bug, it is a training feature. A staircase can become a river, and your school can open into a train station, yet you still search, choose, and move. Your mind is practicing the verbs while the nouns keep changing outfits. We should place that claim alongside two others that often compete for the spotlight. One says dreams exist to run danger drills. The other says dreams mostly rehearse social life. When you step closer, you see that both show up and neither rules alone. Yes. Some nights the story is a chase through alleys with your heart sprinting under the sheets. On other nights you wait for a turn at a sink, make small talk, or try to find a clean shirt before a gathering. The simulator values everyday friction as much as crisis because most of your life plays out there. Let us put those functions on a small ledger you can feel. Memory editing preserves useful maps. Generalization tests the map when the colors change. Threat rehearsal trains a steadier stance when alarms ring. Social rehearsal practices. Tone, timing, and exits. Your dream may carry more than one line item at once. Here is a concrete cue that the ledger is at work. You meet a neighbor's face on a classmate's body, or you walk through your childhood hallway into your current office. Yet the task remains the same. The role and the rule hold steady while costumes and rooms change. While we are in this neighborhood, Let us add a timing clue you can use. Early in the night, imagery can be thinner and thoughts closer to the surface. Late in the night, imagery often brightens and stories stretch. If you want to seed a vivid rehearsal, place your quiet intention closer to dawn. A quiet intention is a single-sentence posture rather than a command. If the hard talk returns, "I will breathe and look again," asks for courage without promising control. The posture rides into the dream more easily than a rigid plan. We can nudge the system further with something called targeted memory reactivation, which sounds complex but feels gentle. During evening study, pair your material with a small cue you enjoy. A citrus scent, a cardamom note, or a soft chime. As you drift at bedtime, repeat the cue once, and if you wake briefly in the last hours, repeat it again and return to sleep. The cue does not force the scene. It invites a revisit. The brain recognizes the cue as a familiar doorknob and may open the related room, strengthening the path. In the morning, you will not feel the synapses change. You will feel a warmer familiarity with the topic. Use the same cue with respect. Keep volumes low, intensities mild, and choices pleasant so the body does not tense. The goal is a polite knock, not a drill siren. Now we turn toward nightmares with sturdier tools. A nightmare is the rehearsal that runs too hot, with the body's alarm surging while fact-checking systems sleep. Our aim is not to slap a smile over fear, but to lower the heat enough to learn. The daytime twin that helps most is imagery rehearsal. Pick the smallest repeating slice of the dream, the corner where you always turn, the door that never opens, and redraw just that beat while you are safe and awake. Insert one protective element and one deliberate breath. Then practice the revised beat for a minute each day. Protective elements are simple: a well-lit window, a trusted voice just off frame, or a hand on a smooth railing. The body learns by example, so you supply better examples in daylight and let the night pick them up later. Fear shrinks when it can rest against even one sturdy detail. If, in the night, awareness wakes up inside the dream, you have a special chance to practice without leaving the theater. First, stabilize the frame by rubbing your hands or naming the scene quietly. Then ask for one small change that supports learning, such as, "Slower, please," or "Hold that object still." Slower playback is powerful because it lets you feel the steps between the startle and the choice. Many frightening beats hide a tiny gap where you could turn, look, and choose. Slowing reveals the gap so you can train your body to use it. There is a laboratory proof that these moments are real. When dreamers become aware, they can move their closed eyes left and right in deliberate patterns to signal answers while the rest of the body stays still. Researchers can ask a simple question and receive an answer without tearing the dream. This two-way exchange changes the story we tell about dreams. A dream stops being a sealed diary and becomes an interface you can respectfully query. You are not at the mercy of the plot. You are in a conversation with the model your brain is running. Conversations need safety rules, so here are the lightest ones. Stabilize, label, and slow before you steer. Avoid dramatic stunts. End by thanking the scene and letting it dissolve. Courtesy keeps the bridge intact for the next night. To ground all of this, let us revisit the anatomy with a farmer's eye rather than a surgeon's. The back of the brain scene builder is the field. Emotion systems supply the weather. Memory systems provide seeds. The sleeping chemistry sets the season. Your practice is irrigation and timing, not genetic engineering. Weather matters, which is why the last hour before bed is so influential. Lower light tells the body sunset has arrived. Quieter sound keeps alarms from priming. Cooler air keeps heat from kicking you upward at the wrong time. These small shifts loosen the knot that otherwise tightens stories until they snap you awake. Keep your tools friendly to the senses. A bedside notebook with dry paper and a pen that flows without scratching. A soft cloth mask. A single pleasant scent. All of these train your nervous system to associate the room with safety. The more your body trusts the cave, the braver your rehearsal can be. People often ask how to aim a dream at a creative problem without turning sleep into a job. The fairest way is to offer a soft invitation, not a demand. Tonight, show me a kinder outline for the story. Or let me see the design from the balcony. Leaves room for play. If something arrives, it will often be a texture rather than a finished plan. You might wake with the warm grain of old wood in your mind and realize the set belongs outdoors, or the hush of heavy curtains that suggests a calmer color palette. Texture is information when you learn to translate it. Translation happens on paper the moment you wake. Stay still for a few breaths. Let the feeling backtrack to the scene and write 2 lines capturing an action, a place, and a feeling. Those anchors keep the night from evaporating under the first light. Then comes the daylight bridge, which is where dreams earn their keep. Take one small action that echoes the night's training. Send the message, make the call, try the phrase, and note in the evening how it went. Action closes the loop that dreaming opened. Some nights will offer everyday scenes that seem boring until you see what they carried. Washing dishes while a neighbor hums can leave you calmer than a fireworks display because it rehearsed steadiness with a friendly witness nearby. The simulator values ordinary grace. Other nights will bring back a person you miss, and that can land with sweetness or with ache. Both are part of how the mind learns to carry love without a constant sting. Write the feeling first, then the scene, and let the pattern change over weeks. A word on cultural habits belongs here. Homes that share a morning fragment without drama tend to grow better. Recall and gentler interpretations. You can raise dream literacy the way you raise reading, by making it normal ink on the family table. For heavy nights, plan a soft landing. Put water within reach, keep a dim nightlight, and choose a sentence you will speak out loud if you wake, startled, such as "I am here and the room is safe." Then jot the smallest line about what last night was trying to train. If the line does not come, write a single word and a color. Driftwood and teal can be enough to keep the thread for the afternoon when meaning catches up. Kept habits matter more than perfect recall. For those who love structured experiments, try an easy test next week. Learn a small skill in the evening. A finger pattern, a phrase in a new language, a sketch stroke. Pair it with a cue and keep your 2-line morning packed. Track not only accuracy but how well the skill transfers to a slightly new case. You will often find that morning brings both stability and flexibility. Stability means fewer slips on the original task. Flexibility means the rule follows you when the room changes. That is the signature of generalization, which pays the biggest dividend in real life. let us circle back to the fear that dreams predict doom. Dreams forecast practice needs, not fate. When a theme repeats, it is the nervous system asking for more reps with the lights dimmed so you can move without the crowd. Threat rehearsal earns its keep when you add kindness. A single breath on purpose in the middle of the scene, a glance to a friendly object, and a slower turn of the head change the body's math. Your heart can still pound while your choices stay large. Social rehearsal deserves equal respect. Dreams often practice timing, tone, and exits. When to speak, when to listen, how to leave a room without burning it. The next day you will feel a half-second more space, and sometimes that is the whole game. Because we promised advanced tools, let us bundle them into a smooth evening D to a morning arc. You can run this week. Shape the room for safety. Pair a cue with light study. Write a posture sentence. Choose one gentle reality check. You will actually do, and keep your 2-line pact at dawn. No lists are needed in your voice. The steps will flow in your body. Reality checks work best when they are kind and repeatable. Looking at your hands and saying, "I am here," or touching a light switch and asking, "Does this behave?" carry naturally into the night. In a dream, the switch may misbehave, and that tiny surprise is the doorway to awareness. If awareness arrives, remember the order: stabilize, label, slow. Rub hands, name the scene, ask for slower playback, then make a small choice that lines up with your posture sentence. End with thanks and a soft fade rather than a hard cut. The point of all this is not to chase constant lucidity. The point is to become the kind of person who moves with steadier attention, whether asleep or awake. Dreams are a night school where the test is kinder and the lessons still count in daylight. Before we close, keep one macro image in your pocket because it captures the wonder without superstition. A sleeping person, eyes closed, sweeps left and right in a deliberate code, while scalp electrodes show the back of the brain scene builder glowing and the heart tapping a night rhythm. The private theater answers a question without breaking character. That is enough to put us on a new footing with our own nights. You can dim the lamps, place a cue, write a posture sentence, and greet the morning with 2 lines that keep the bridge strong. The rest is patience and curiosity, which together make the most reliable teachers I know. Let us add a closer look at the timing of sleep stages because timing shapes story texture. Early cycles lean on deeper restoration with thinner images, while late cycles bring longer, brighter scenes that carry stronger emotion. If you set a gentle intention in the last third of the night, you often meet a scene vivid enough to work with. That does not mean the earlier hours are wasted. They stabilize skills and clear clutter. Think of early night as laying concrete and late night as painting lines and adding trees. Both matter, and your practice can match the hour you are in. People sometimes ask whether dreams during the quieter parts of the night count, and they do. Those scenes can feel more like thoughts with soft edges, and yet they still carry feelings that your body learns from. A calm fragment about sorting books can make a real desk feel easier in the morning. Another question returns often: can you invite a specific person or place without chasing fantasy? You can invite the quality rather than the character, and that keeps the practice grounded. Ask for patience, clarity, or courage, and let the mind choose the face it trusts. When you wake briefly in the night, treat those minutes like a shoreline rather than a cliff. Keep light low. Write a few words if they are ready, sip water, and return with one slow breath that ends a little longer than it begins. That tiny ritual keeps the nervous system from sounding alarms. If you share a room, agree on a very dim light and a soft page turn so the ritual stays quiet. Cooperation protects both sleepers from spiraling into full wakefulness. The rule is kindness first, note-taking second. We can zoom back into the back of the after the harebrained scene builder to make its role more practical. When that neighborhood glows, your mind has the materials for images. When it dims, you feel more like you are thinking in words or in vague space. Knowing this helps you stop judging yourself for having a night of blur. It is simply a different workshop. You can still learn from blur by tracking verbs and feelings even when pictures refuse to come. Write drifted, soot gray, wistful, and notice how that trio shifts across days. The shift tells you what is training even when the camera fades to gray. Creative fields benefit from these subtle reads. A designer who wakes with a memory of soft fabric and low light might try a matte finish and a quieter palette. A writer who wakes with sharp angles and loud steps might tighten the scene's pacing. Texture translates to choices when you practice translating. Now let us sharpen the ledger for what dreams do with a few crisp examples. Memory editing. You study a phrase, cue it with a scent. Sleep and recall improves while a related phrase also becomes easier. Generalization. You practice a chord, sleep, and the next day your hands find a cousin shape you never drilled directly. Threat rehearsal. You dream of speaking up, your heart pounds, and the next day you feel a half-second more room before you talk. Social rehearsal. You navigate a crowded hallway in the dream, then flow better through a busy office without bumping into shoulders. These are small gains that add up to trust in the process. For nightmare work, let us add a daytime loop that many find calming. Close your eyes, picture the exact corner where fear spikes, and press your tongue gently to the roof of your mouth while you breathe out longer than you breathe in. Place a friendly object into the frame, such as a lamp or a window, and rehearse the turn toward it. That tongue press can sound odd, but it anchors attention and softens the jaw, which lowers the body's alert posture. The longer exhale rides the body's braking system, signaling that you can afford to slow down. Safety is a full body message, not just a thought. In lucid moments, your choices become even finer. Instead of flying or changing scenes, which often snaps the frame, ask to replay a 7-second slice at half speed. Watch your hands and the edges of objects while you breathe. This keeps the scene coherent and the lesson reachable. You can also ask the scene to switch senses. If sight is noisy, ask for sound. If sound is loud, ask for touch. The brain can honor that request without waking you, because the request is small and specific. Laboratory teams have coaxed dreamers to count objects, trace shapes, and even do simple decisions while their eyes signal the answers. The tasks are humble on purpose, so the bridge stays intact. You can mirror that humility at home by asking for a slower view rather than a grand new world. Here is a playful home protocol that respects the science. In the last hour, review a small skill with a pleasant cue, write your posture sentence, choose one reality check, dim the room and quiet the sound. If you wake before dawn, write a few words and reuse the cue once before sleep. In the morning, keep the two-line pact and take one tiny action that matches the night. Over a week, rate your mornings with a single word about energy and a single word about steadiness. You might see that steadiness rises before energy does, and that is still a win. Steady bodies learn faster than jittery ones. Let us honor differences across life stages because the simulator adjusts with age. Children often report more play and quick shifts. Young adults see more social navigation and challenge. Older adults report quieter maintenance scenes and visits to meaningful rooms. Each stage has value and trains what that season of life asks for most. Culture shapes this too. Communities that share neutral dream talk in the morning tend to dampen fear and support creative use. Communities that treat dreams as omens can raise stress and narrow choices. The practice we are building keeps meaning personal and behavior focused. Animals dream as well, which you can glimpse in the paws of a sleeping dog or the whisker flick of a resting cat. Their bodies rehearse moves without the risk of a real sprint, which suggests that rehearsal is an old and useful trick in biology. We are simply adding language and notebooks to a shared pattern of practice. When grief visits, your simulator may bring the lost person back with startling clarity. If that happens, let yourself feel the warmth or the ache without judging it, and write the feeling first. Over time, many people notice that the visits soften and the ache becomes a carrying love. Some people worry that writing dreams gives them too much power. Writing gives you perspective, not extra weight. It lets you see patterns across weeks rather than drowning in a single night. Perspective is the difference between being in the weather and owning a forecast. If you enjoy structured practice, try an imagination warm-up after dinner that does not involve screens. Close your eyes for 1 minute and build a simple room with 3 textures and 2 sounds. Then open your eyes and name one color aloud. You are teaching the scene builder to respond to gentle direction. The body supports this training when you move it kindly. A late afternoon walk calibrates your inner clock with outside light, and a brief stretch in the evening lowers leftover tension that would otherwise color the night. The next day, the same walk helps stabilize the gains. Nutrition contributes in straightforward ways. Favor lighter dinners if late, give alcohol a wide berth near bedtime, and watch how caffeine past mid-afternoon ripples into your scenes. None of this is moral. It is mechanical kindness to your future self. Technology can be a friend if it serves the goal rather than stealing attention. A small voice recorder captures a line without blasting light. A dim, warm nightlight prevents stumbles without waking your whole brain. Keep screens out of the pillow's glow. Let us add one more curiosity test for next week. Ask a soft question at bedtime, such as, "Show me 3 ways to say this truth kindly, then do nothing forceful." In the morning, see if a phrase, a rhythm, or a color carried across, and use one of them before noon. Using it before noon matters because action locks the lesson. The brain respects what you do more than what you promise, and the simulator adjusts its training when it sees you practicing on stage. Use earns you more tailored nights. To close, hold a composite image that blends mechanism and wonder. A quiet room with dim blue edges. A back-of-the-brain glow that means picture-making is live. Eyes that can sweep left and right to answer a friendly question. A heart that keeps night rhythm while a page waits on the table. The boundary between rehearsal and life gets thinner, and choice walks across it. Tonight you can run the whole arc with lightness. Shape the cave, pair the cue, set the posture, choose the check, and give dawn its 2 lines. Let the simulator play. Then carry one insight into daylight and watch how the day thanks the night.